so keep that in mind.
Yeah, hey, forget I asked.
That'll definitely
Ew.
do.
Join the Discord.
It was the least fun I've ever had playing this game.
A small but vibrant and extremely humble community.
No, I've seen the sleeves, but I'm like, you said you're suiting up, and then you put your sleeve on. Thank you for saying that.
Because I'm a demon on the keys.
Next thing I know, we're both dead. I immediately left the lobby.
In Vietnam.
What are they playing for? Are they playing to win?
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
We are live. Welcome to the Dropshot, episode number 33. We've got a banger of an episode for you today. I think this is the episode in which I took the longest amount of time writing the notes. This is chocked full of vital information, strats, loadouts, etc., to get you guys primed and ready to dick kids around. No Epstein. So the topic of today's podcast is all about Warzone, because Tanner and I have played it quite a bit since it came out, and now we feel comfortable giving you guys some information. So what you guys can go ahead and do now is go to your bookmarks, and that stupid fucking guide that Infinity Ward put out for Warzone, delete it. Delete it. And then you can replace that bookmark with twitch.tv/Razanon, because this is where all of the real information can be found. This is through experience. And as we know, the people at Infinity Ward don't actually play the game, right? So they are not equipped to write a guide on Warzone because they don't know how to play it, because they've never played it, which is very evident from all of the terrible, disastrous choices they've made, not only with Warzone, but with multiplayer and, in fact, the game in general. So, very few announcements today, but the first announcement is extremely important and exciting to me, and I'm going to need your guys' help with this one. So, class, if you could direct your attention to the screen. All right, so on the projector here, I'm pulling up twitter.com. This is a tweet from Modern Warzone. Now, first of all, if you don't know who this is, he is a leaker. So think like the gaming revolution, but he's newer to the game. He's got a slightly smaller following than the gaming revolution, but still a sizable following. He created his Twitter account in February, and in 3 months, he has 25,000 Twitter followers. He's also got a Twitch stream. He's got a YouTube channel. His @ on Twitter is Modern Warzone. And all of his leaks have been accurate. And he's had information before anyone else when it comes to leaks quite often. So that is why he has amassed such a following in such a short amount of time. So anyways, he made a tweet 2 days ago. He said, if you're growing in the gaming content creation world, why would you not want to spread that positivity and share it with everyone? Okay, I'm with you so far, brother. Why not support small timers who have been working their ass off with no recognition? Wow, you're speaking my language, brother. It's not a competition. We can all eat at this table. Now, if anyone knows anything about twitch.tv/Razanon, it's that he shoots his fucking shot. He shoots his shot, right? So what did I do when I saw this tweet? Hey, dude, I shot my fucking shot. So here we go. I replied, myself and Tanner Dropshot host a small but vibrant and extremely humble podcast called The Dropshot. And we reference you and your leaks often. And then so I shot my shot, and 99% of the time nothing happens. So I didn't think much of it. And then I got a reply a fantastic reply, really the best reply I could have received. Let me know if you ever want me to swing through. So I said, absolutely, I'd be honored. I can email you, I can DM you, I can fly to your house. What do you want from me to make this happen? And he said, email me, and then he tweeted his email, doug@modernwarzone.com. So that email has since been sent, and I know you guys were, I made a Twitter poll asking if you guys would be interested in having a guest on the pod, and 42 people responded. Most of you said yes. A couple of you said you don't care. And then one of you said, no, you don't want a guest. So 41 people were in favor, or were at least apathetic. One person said no, so fuck you, because we're getting a guest.
Who said no?
I don't know. I can't.
Let's figure out who said no and ban them.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But so anyways, you guys wanted a guest. This might be our first guest. I'm hoping. So that day, 2 days ago, I drafted my email to Doug, Modern Warzone, and I said, hey, let's get you on the fucking pod. I suggested a week from today, a week from this Saturday. Now, here's where you guys come in. I haven't heard back. So I need you to tweet at Modern Warzone. If you like this podcast, here's what you'll do. You'll tweet at Modern Warzone and you'll say, hey, I really hope that you become a guest on the Dropshot, because that would be the most fire podcast in history. Better than Alex Jones on the Joe Rogan Experience. You can say that verbatim if you want, in fact. Here's what I don't want you to do. Don't harass him. Don't be rude. Don't be pushy. But if you want to gently nudge by adding him and say, hey, I'm really excited to hear you on The Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast. Do it. Do it. Tanner, are you trying to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, he's a good dude, and we like what he's doing, and he's also kind of doing what Raznon has been saying. He basically quit his job because this started taking off, and he's gonna put this as his he's gonna put everything into it. This is a full-time job now, so you guys should also go support him and follow him on Twitch and everything, because he took a big leap quitting his full-time job to try to do this. So
100% agreed. 100%
that's really cool
agreed.
of him, and we should all support him.
Yeah, and he's genuinely a good dude too, by the way. So if you guys look on the screen here, this is his website, modernwarzone.com. It's a really nice looking website, by the way. And for someone that started doing this 3 months ago, it's amazing how polished this is, how accurate his leaks are, and the caliber of his content is high, really high. Like his website looks like professional. And then if you guys want to follow him on Twitter, or on Twitch, excuse me, it's DougDagnabbit, Doug Dagnabbit. And I'm going to do a shout out command for you guys here. If I can type, there we go. And then you guys can follow him off that. Did I spell that right? He was streaming 2K. Well, that's yikes.
He was streaming 2K last night for a little bit after Call of Duty, I think.
Okay, well, I guess we need to look for a new guest. I'm kidding. But mostly he plays COD, and he's all about COD. So follow him on Twitch, follow him on Twitter, and then tweet at him to get on the fucking podcast, please. That would be great.
So if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts, pause the fucking podcast now, open up Twitter, tweet at him, and tell him you would love to hear and see him on the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast.
Absolutely. So let me catch up on chat here a little bit. Real quick. What's up, Extended Lazy? Welcome. Riel, there was a Warzone guy. I'm up to date on the pods now. I don't know what to do with my free time. Well, you're doing the right thing by being here, brother. Welcome back. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here. New Hampshire Gunslinger with the 1,000 more biddies. Let's fucking go. And the gifted sub to Magi. Figure out your name, make a better one. Also, welcome to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. Gunslinger, my friend, thank you so much, dude. Lots of biddies, gifted subs. I appreciate the support, man. And Nicomus with the gifted sub as well. To Moose Jaw Well, Moose Jaw, welcome back. And for the first time, congratulations on that sub. And to Shore BRK is what I think that name is. Let's fucking go. Thank you, Nicomas, so much, dude. I appreciate the support. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and I'm privileged. And Shore Break, welcome to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. I appreciate all the support, boys. I appreciate it very, very much. Very fucking much. All right, Czar, take it easy. Happy Killmore for the 48th gifted sub by Nicomas, dude. Let's fucking go. This guy is a demon on the twitch.tv. Nicomas, thank you so much, dude. I really fucking appreciate it, man. And happy Killmore. Congrats on the sub. First time live. And there's the sub, dude. That's how you get welcomed into the Dropshot community. And while you're here, here's how you can say thanks for that gifted sub. Join the fucking Discord. Make sure you link your Discord account to your Twitch account, because then you'll get some more fancy shit in the Discord. It's very easy. Go to the settings. Nicomas, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it very much. Let's move on here. Next announcement. I do need a third new emote idea. So I'm going to replace some of my existing emotes. One of them is going to be read a book, and one of them is going to be keep that in mind. So I need a third emote idea, because the order from the guy I want is 3 emote slots. So if you can think of another new emote that would be cool, please let me know in the Discord. And also let me know what images would look good for the read a book or keep that in mind emotes. Like, what kind of image should that be? What would look good as an emote for those things? Please let me know. Czar with 100 more bits, dude. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, Czar. Appreciate it very much, dude. Humble would be a good emote as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's a good idea.
These are all great ideas, but put them in the Discord, because I'm not going to remember them if you just type them in Twitch chat. So figure that out. Meat and potatoes.
That'd be fantastic.
Okay. All right. So that's it for the announcements. Next up, iTunes reviews. So we're doing this section now. If you rate the fucking podcast 5 stars and write a review, I will read it on stream, and I'll show it on stream, no matter what you say. So as I've alluded to, you can write a haiku about how I like to swallow dicks. You can write a poem about Tanner's mustache. You can say we're great. You can say we're terrible. Don't care. I'll read it if it's 5 stars, no matter what the content of the review is. So if you want to embarrass me, embarrass Tanner, make a political statement, this is a great way to do it, because we get about 1,000, 1,200 listeners per episode. So do you have a message for the people? Do you want to proselytize about Black Lives Matter? Rate the podcast 5 stars and write whatever the flying fuck you want, and I'll read it live on the podcast. So here we go. Jordan Scott 96, love these guys. I've always tried to find some guys that actually talk about what matters in COD as it happens. I've learned so much about what's going on in the game by listening to these guys, since I work too much to always be online when updates happen. They're also very interactive with their followers, and I've had several live conversations with them on Twitch. Would recommend them to anybody out there that loves good, entertaining pods or Call of Duty. Thank you, Jordan. Bernie Mac 8, rest in peace. Thanks. Okay. Thanks for making Uber Eats more enjoyable. Shout out to the fucking delivery drivers, by the way. Those are essential workers. I get like 900 deliveries per week. So shout out to Bernie Mac 8. Driving around and listening to you guys makes work fly. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Bernie. Sir Carter, most entertaining pod on the app. That is high praise. These dudes are doing it well. Was stoked to find a modern podcast, okay, that offers accurate information and valid opinions that keep me entertained throughout my workday. A true must listen. And they mean it when they say it's better when consumed live on Twitch. Okay. Thanks, dudes. I'm off to read a book. Fantastic. Sir Carter, thank you. It's BBMF. Listen to this podcast, all caps. I've been listening to these guys for almost 2 months, mostly at work, and have caught up with every episode. They not only have some of the best information about the game, but they even make accurate predictions on what might also be coming to the game, unless it's about Warzone duos. If you get a chance, I highly recommend catching the live stream to meet all the whole fam. Thanks, boys. Keep it up. BBMF, shout out to you, brother. I know you come to Twitch a lot. You might be here now. I appreciate it, dude. Elkhound, all facts. The boys deliver up-to-date topics and news regarding the COD universe. This isn't a sugar-coated BS pod either. The jokes seem to keep rolling throughout the episodes. All in all, if you're interested in COD, this is the place for superb intel. Elkhound, you're often in Twitch as well. Shout out to you. Thank you, brother. And then he plugged his Instagram. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Go follow this guy on Instagram. And because this is what I want. This is the purpose of why I'm doing this. Instagram, Caleb Santos 16, KALEB SANTOS 16. If you want to plug your Instagram, your OnlyFans, rate the podcast 5 fucking stars, write a review, I'll read it. And the title of his review is Caleb. K. Another New Hampshire fan. All right, well, thanks for the 5 stars. That's all I wanted. So thank you, Caleb. I appreciate that. And now let's...
What a demon, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a demon on the keys. Now let me catch up on chat here real quick. We have a hype train. That's crazy. Those don't happen often. I don't know what sparked this. Oh, Extended Lazy, 300 biddies. Let's fucking go, dude. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate you conducting this train. Thank you, man. Very kind of you. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and I'm privileged. I appreciate the biddies. Without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode.
Okay.
All right, so as always, playlist updates. There's only one, and it's a great update. Tanner kind of called it, not really.
Well,
M-Dub and Warzone May 29th playlist update. BR Duos Double XP. So, now we have solos, duos, threes, and quads. So we finally got duos. Let's fucking go. And I've played very little duos because I'm so fucking popular. But the few duos I have played have been fun, and I'm glad that they exist now. So that's great. Fucking finally. And guess what, by the way, there were no bugs. It worked exactly like every other Warzone playlist. So I don't know why they didn't release it sooner, but I'm glad it's here. I suspect it's never going away, by the way. I think this is going to be a permanent playlist. It better fucking be also, by the way. And then they also added Plunder Quads. I don't know if this replaced Plunder Trios. I think it did. So I think Plunder is back to quads. Or is now quads. Maybe there are both, but it's unclear from this article. And then we also have double XP, double weapon XP, and then double tier progression. As we all know, Season 3 ends on Wednesday when Season 4 begins. So this is your last chance to get 155, to get all those ribbons. If you're into that, the 155 reward. Do you know what that is, Tanner? It's a weapon blueprint of a kind. I think it's a FAMAS, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I think it's a FAMAS, but I'm not sure. I
hope not.
And then also to get the tier 100 battle pass reward things, which are Alex skins and some other shit. So they're double XP all around, including for the tiers, and then duos. So I don't think you've played duos yet, Tanner.
I have not.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's fun. So that's it for playlist updates. Now let's get into the topic of today's episode, which is Warzone strats. So as we were saying, Tanner and I have played quite a bit more Warzone since it came out, particularly lately. I've been getting fairly bored with multiplayer as of late. And so I've been playing Warzone more and more. I've been watching Warzone streams as well, people that are good at Warzone. And I've been kind of learning their strategies. I've been implementing them myself. with a great degree of success. So I played Warzone. I played some 4s, some 3s, and some 2s last night. And I think I got 4 wins. And then every other game, I was getting, you know, quite a few top 10s. And then a couple times we just got totally shit on. But needless to say, we've been doing quite well in Warzone. And especially when we stick to the game plan, we can pretty reliably do pretty goddamn well in Warzone. And the reason for that is all about strategy. So today we're going to be going over what that entails. We're going to be hitting every conceivable nook and cranny of how to optimize your chances of winning in Warzone. So we're going to try and hit I wrote down notes, like I said, for a long time. I tried to think of every facet I could cover. So we're going to go through all of that. And if we think of things as we go, we will be sure to add them in. But let's jump right the fuck into it. So did I delete this?
Delete what?
Oh, no, never mind. Okay, so first of all, Warzone starts with you dropping. So choosing where to drop depends on 2 things. You want to drop somewhere where there are contracts and where there's a buy station. The reason you want contracts is to get money, and the reason you want a buy station is so that you can spend that money on a loadout drop. So some of our favorite places to drop are Farmland, Military Base, and Lumber. The reason for that is that none of these places have a bunch of buildings that are 2 stories or more. So places you want to avoid, for example, would be downtown, because it has a million buildings that are literally 16 stories tall, and you can get shot out of 8 billion windows. You also want to avoid like prison, because it's so out of the way. There's usually not a buy station there. And even if there are contracts, it's like you're so far away from everything else that you're going to spend a lot of time traveling once you're done there. And that time traveling is time you could have otherwise spent looting or killing or doing other contracts. So I would say avoid prison and avoid downtown. Would you add anything else to the avoid list, Tanner?
I don't think I've ever seen a zone land close to prison at all that I can remember. It's such a bad spot to land. It's also a bait because people will go underneath and go through all the levels, and you'll get stuck in there and lost, honestly. And you can die to the zone that way because you'll take so long to get out, and the zone will be coming in. You have to make it all the way to dam or something. If there's one helicopter there, somebody already took it, so you're gonna have to start running. It's the worst spot on the map to land, I think, honestly.
It's not great. And then I'm sure you agree downtown's terrible as well.
We avoid downtown at all costs.
At all costs, yeah.
I would love downtown to not be a part of the map.
Hopefully it gets nuked, as we alluded to. Anywhere else that you would avoid?
It used to be Boneyard, but recently Boneyard, I think, has been pretty good for us.
I think Boneyard's fine. It's just gonna be hot. Boneyard's good because you're not gonna get shot from like a 3rd-story building, most likely, because there are a couple, but there aren't many. But it's just hot, so it depends on if you want a hot drop or not.
I don't really enjoy airport either. At least the part where all the hangars are, it's a bait to land there, especially if you have to run out in the open. You just get killed from too many directions there. You can get sniped from a very long distance there. A lot of line of sights around there, and they'll fuck you up. So I would not recommend that.
And then what's your favorite drop spot?
Farmland for sure.
Farmland, yeah. Okay.
Well, Farmland or Lumber. I kind of tie them in as one. That's how I usually think of them. But both of those are
they're very
good
close.
Ones.
Yeah. And then
Millie's usually our second.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's also obviously going to depend on where the circle is and the plane's course, where it flies in, where it flies out, where it flies through. So as a rule of thumb, if you choose somewhere that is far away from where the plane initially flies in, and or somewhere that's way outside of the circle, the first circle, you can expect fewer enemies to be present where you drop. So for example, if the plane flies in here and the circle's like here and you want to drop in there, so you're going to have to wait in the plane for like a minute. By the time you drop wherever you're going, there's probably not going to be anyone there. And then on the flip side of that, if you're just smashing your fucking jump button immediately, and then you just drop wherever the plane is, where it can first let you out, expect it to be hot as fuck. So there are certain spots that are going to be hot most of the time regardless, like Boneyard. But a lot of the times, it's just the sooner you drop, the hotter it's going to be. And the later you drop, the more cooled down it's going to be. If you're going for wins, I would not recommend hot dropping. Because you can hot drop, and then the guy in front of you picks up an M4 and you haven't found a gun yet, and now you're fucking dead. You can just get unlucky often hot dropping. So if you're trying to just have fun or trying to go for a super high kill game, obviously you want a hot drop. But, you know, it's not the most consistently good strategy to use. So...
Yeah, I mean, if, like you said, if you're going for high kill games and if you're playing like quads or something and all four of you have 3.0, 4.0 KDs, then yeah, hot drop. You're going to usually have the advantage if you have a really good squad like that and you just want to fuck around and get a ton of kills.
That's true, but also, like, hot dropping is going to be really a lot better, not only if your teammates are good, but also if they are experienced. So once you've played a lot of Warzone, you'll do better hot dropping because you'll know like where there's usually a gun, what building has shit in it. You'll be able to locate supply boxes more quickly and easily. You'll be comfortable like looting fast and then just banging it out. So if you're new, I would just in general not recommend hot dropping. So and anyways, so when you drop, like I said, you want to drop somewhere with contracts and with a buy station. And your ultimate goal in the beginning of the game is to get your loadout drop as quickly as possible. And this costs $10,000. So, the reason you want to drop somewhere close to contracts and buy stations is you want to drop, clear your area of enemies if you need to, and then get started on a contract. It doesn't particularly matter what kind of contract. In my opinion, the best one to do off the rip is Scavenger, because it's 3 loot boxes and an armor satchel. And in each of those loot boxes, there might be some money. There's going to be some plates, some ammo, some guns. And again, there's going to be that money that's going to be getting you closer to your loadout drop. And then on your way to each scavenger box, you can loot on the way, find some more cash. And the only thing you really want to do is start getting enough money. And as soon as you have 10,000, you fucking sprint to that buy station and you buy a loadout drop. Now, with respect to the loadout drop, you should be creating 2 classes. One of them should have overkill with 2 really good weapons. And then you should copy that class and replace overkill with ghost. And we're going to get into why. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to buy your first loadout drop with overkill. So it's going to have 2 really good guns. And then you buy your first loadout drop, you get your 2 really good guns, you're good to go. You play the game. And then the next time you get a loadout drop, which is usually the free one that like drops randomly on the map for the community, you go to that second loadout drop. You could also buy a second loadout drop, but usually it's the free one. You go to that second loadout drop, and you already have 2 custom weapons that are really good. You choose your identical class that has ghost in it, and then you're going to drop the guns you're currently using. So now that you have your ghost class, you're going to swap to your secondary, which is a pistol, and then you're going to swap it out for your original secondary. So now you still have 2 really good guns, but you also have ghost, which means you're not going to appear on UAV or heartbeat sensor, and you're going to be really well situated to bang it out. So we're going to get into that a little bit more if that didn't quite make sense. But here is the loadout in general, you should be using. So for the blue perk, for your custom class, the meta used to be cold-blooded because everyone was running thermal snipers. No one really runs those anymore. Most people don't. And a lot of people are running RPGs, which we went over last episode. And RPGs just got buffed, so you can expect them to be even more of a problem. So the blue perk you want for your custom Warzone class is EOD. You take less explosive damage. It's that simple. It helps you with RPGs. It's also going to help you with exploding helicopters, exploding cars, frags, Semtex, C4, etc.
You know all about the helicopters and cars crashing them.
We know all about
black helicopters
for sure. So, so I would recommend EOD, and I don't think cold-blooded is really worth using anymore. And is anything else even in the running, in your opinion, Tanner?
There's nothing else in the running. Yeah, the only time I see thermal snipers now actually are the ones that are dropped on the floor. I'll occasionally see one of those at the beginning of the game, and I'll pick one up just to use as a sniper. But after that, you don't run into anybody using them anymore. So that's good, because that was very annoying when that was the meta.
For sure. And then as far as your yellow perk, you should be running amped or tune-up. So what amped is going to do is it's going to give you faster weapon swap speed. So when you have your fucking growl out and you want to switch to your MP5, if you have amped as your yellow perk, that switch is very quick, as if you had a pistol, which comes in super handy. You also use equipment more quickly. So you can throw C4s faster, you throw down your ammo box faster, and that also comes in handy, especially being able to lob C4s more quickly. That can save your life. And it can be the difference between blowing up some enemy's car and not being able to do it in time. But mainly you do it for the faster weapon swap. Tune up, on the other hand, lets you res your teammates 25% faster, which is big. It's a big difference. So this is really good, but in my view, you usually want to avoid resing teammates in a pinch anyway. So if you really need 25% faster res speed because it's so sketchy, well, that indicates you probably shouldn't be resing at all in that situation. Regardless, there are some times where you have to go for it, and in those instances, tune-up is really good. But obviously, if you're playing solos, for example, tune-up is literally useless, so don't use it. Use amped. Are there any other yellow perks that you would consider, Tanner, or anything else to say on yellow perks?
I don't think it should be amped almost 99% of the time. I mean, tune up, if you're rezzing, yeah, I mean, like you're saying, you should be in a safe spot anyways, because most of the time when I get down, I end up just getting full killed. Because, you know, usually you're in the open or something, you're in a doorway, they're able to put a few more bullets into you and kill you. So I think most of the time, tune up is worthless. And you should be running 2 good weapons in Warzone. So amped is for sure the better perk almost every single time.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that 100%. And as we were saying, on your first loadout, you want overkill so that you can have 2 really good weapons. And on your second loadout, you're going to swap the exact same class, except it's going to have Ghost on it. And then you can pick up your second weapon, and then you still have the 2 primaries, but you also have Ghost. The reason Ghost is so good is because you don't appear on UAV and you don't appear on heartbeat sensor. And everyone uses heartbeat sensor, and UAVs are abundant. So if you have Ghost and your whole team has Ghost, if you're not shooting and people don't see you, they can't know you're there, which is great, It's good if you're playing aggressive because people won't be able to pop a UAV and see you coming up to their building behind them. But it's also good if you're like in a building yourself and there's a team you don't see that's like running past you right outside and you're like not ready or whatever. If they're doing heartbeat sensor, they might decide not to clear the building you're in because you all have Ghost and they don't know you're there. Whereas if you do, if you don't have Ghost and they heartbeat sensor, They know you're in the building. You don't know they're outside. And then they surprise you and you're all dead. So Ghost is insanely strong. It's insanely good. And it is by far the best red perk in the game. I think for multiplayer, but I also think for Warzone. I think Ghost is the single strongest thing you can have in Warzone. Period. So you definitely want to be running Ghost for sure. And that's why we have it as our second loadout. You get the 2 really strong weapons and you swap it out for Ghost. So now on to weapons. The best weapon in the game at the moment is the Growl. The Growl is insanely overpowered. Since the M4 has been nerfed 13 times, it is officially not the best AR in the game anymore. It has been dethroned by the Growl. And that is my primary. So I run Tactical Suppressor, Archangel Barrel, 60 round mags, Stippled Grip Tape, and Commando Foregrip. And then Tanner, what do you run on your Growl?
Mine's almost the same. My Growl, I also run Tactical Suppressor, Archangel Barrel, 60 round mag, Stippled Grip. Instead of Commando like Raz runs though, I choose no stock. I know a lot of people probably think that's dumb in Warzone, but I don't have an issue hitting people at range with it, and it's much quicker ADS time, which is helping up close. Because, I mean, even though the map is huge, most of the gunfights we get in are within, 40 meters, and it has 0 impact. If they are really far out, even with the Commando foregrip, I don't think that's going to help me that much to be able to land those shots. So I'd rather have the better ADS speed, personally.
That's fair. That is fair. So we can give you guys those setups if you want. You should feel free to change up some stuff on this Growl. But number one, if you're trying to win and you're trying to find the best possible gun in the game, the Growl is that gun for sure. And there are some attachments that you can change up. But the attachments you can't change up are, number one, you have to have a suppressor. Because again, a suppressor keeps you off the mini-map. It allows you to surprise people, and it minimizes the chance of you being surprised yourself, because no one's going to know where you are as far as looking at the mini-map goes, which is insanely strong. So if you have the suppressor and you have Ghost, you will never appear on the mini-map ever, under any circumstances. And that is incredibly powerful. That is incredibly powerful. So the suppressor is one thing I would not swap out. And then also, you should definitely have an Archangel Barrel, or at least the Nexus Barrel, because both of these are long barrels. They increase your damage range and they increase your bullet velocity. In Warzone, there's a lot of engagements that are pretty long distance, and you want to be able to land shots at those distances without having to lead people. And also, you want to be doing a decent amount of damage at those ranges. Number one, for shooting at enemy people, but also for shooting at helicopters. If you have like max damage range on your AR and there's a helicopter that's very far away, the more damage range you have, the better. Especially when 3 or 4 of you are shooting at it, because you can disable and kill everyone in the chopper much more quickly if you have all that damage range. So you need the long barrel and you need the suppressor. I would say also 60 round mags you should definitely keep, because the time to kill is a lot slower in Warzone because of body armor. So you want to be able to have a lot of bullets in the magazine so that you can keep firing until you down someone. But everything else is kind of, up for swapping and whatnot. So if you wanted to throw on a sight, if you wanted to change up the underbarrel stock, feel free. But those are the 3 things that I would not fuck with. And then my secondary with my overkill class is the MP5. The MP5 is by far the best SMG in the game. It kills insanely fast. This is true for multiplayer and Warzone. It's fucking disgusting. It's outrageous and it needs to be nerfed. But until such time, I'm using it. So my setup's the monolithic integral, 5 milliwatt laser, Merc foregrip, stippled grip tape, and 45 round mags. That setup might seem weird, but I run 5 mil and Merc foregrip, which both increase my hip fire accuracy. So I have the maximum hip fire accuracy with this setup. And then 5 mil and stippled grip tape also means I have maximum sprint to fire speed. And those are both very important for me with my SMG because I already have a mid-range to long-range gun. So my secondary is strictly for banging it out close. And if I'm banging it out close, I want really good hip fire spread in case I get surprised so that I can start shooting before I'm able to ADS and I'm still landing those hip fire bullets. And also max sprint to fire speed so that if I'm storming a building and I'm sprinting through upstairs and someone's on the stairway instead of on the building so I get surprised, I can pull that up and go sprint to fire as quickly as possible. So this gun is optimized for close range engagements. The only thing that's not is the monolithic integral. And the reason I have that, which is not technically like a close range attachment, is because I want to also, number one, have a silencer, which this does, and number two, increase my damage range. The reason for that is that in a pinch, if I'm on a mid-range engagement and I'm shooting my growl and I don't have time to reload and he's running around the corner and he's about to get away and heal, I can use amped, which gives me faster weapon swap, get that MP5 out real quick, and then finish him with that. That's another reason I use an SMG instead of like a shotgun. Shotgun's definitely going to be better in really close range, but I can't use it in a pinch in a mid-range engagement. That's why I use the MP5. MP5 can be used in a pinch in a mid-range engagement, but it's also going to be insanely good close range also. So it has that versatility to allow me to be a finisher in mid-range if I need to swap weapons or if I run out of AR ammo, but it's also going to be very good close quarters. Now, Tanner, you're gonna have to tell us a little bit about your fucking dumb decision here. So the floor is yours.
Well, it's not a dumb decision. I didn't realize every single time we play Warzone, we all say make sure you're running Ghost. I didn't realize you guys were ever doing this overkill shit. Have Itchy and Low Cap and Ben been doing that same thing? Because I'm pretty sure Ben hasn't.
I don't know if Ben has, but Itchy and Low Cap
I thought
have.
we all run Ghost from the start. So I don't think I was around when you guys discussed this.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I didn't realize they've been running the overkill class at the start.
Well, what would you run if you were doing the overkill thing? MP7
well, what I'm gonna do tonight,
MP5?
What I'm going to do tonight is your exact setup, because the MP5 is very good at hip fire, and with that setup, that sounds fantastic. And I'd love to be able to just run into a building and spray down without aiming, which the MP5 is really good for.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to try tonight. But what I usually do is I've just been running Ghost from the start. I run a Deagle. It's the same exact Deagle setup. I run a multiplayer. And I usually find a good SMG, or the very first team we kill, one of them will have a good SMG. And I'll pick that up, or sometimes I'll pick up an AX50. It depends how I'm feeling. It depends where we're at on the map, and where we're going, what gun I carry. So I've just been picking up ground weapons, and it actually works out okay for me typically. But I guess we're going to do this overkill thing, which is smart. I just don't know if it's always the best idea waiting that long to get Ghost. But we'll find out. But yeah, so my Deagle setup, if anyone actually cares, is the monolithic suppressor, forge, tack, enforcer, barrel, which is the long one, lightweight trigger, 13-round mags, and rubberized grip tape. It's got really good recoil control, kills pretty quickly. Lightweight trigger helps a lot to land those bullets. And that's usually what I run. I don't ever use it, as you can imagine, other than pretty much when I run out of ammo and have to switch my gun real quick, or when somebody's already downed and I don't want to waste ammo, I'll bust that out real quick and just put a few bullets into him and kill him. But usually I just pick up a gun, floor loot as soon as I can.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. So, yeah. Another excellent choice if you don't like the MP5, which I could understand, is an MP7. The advantage of the MP7 is it's way better at long range because it has no fucking recoil. It has no recoil. And also, it has a 60-round mag instead of a 45-round mag, which is also very good in Warzone. So the MP7 is another great choice. It's going to be better at mid-range than an MP5. So it's going to be better for finishing kids off in the scenario I outlined earlier. but it's also going to be worse really close range. It's just not going to kill as quickly as an MP5. But they're both very good choices, and you wouldn't be wrong to use an MP7. I think that is a matter of preference rather than of course. So let me catch up on chat here real quick. We've seen a lot of shit going down. Extended Lazy with 100 other biddies. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. God bless, dude. Sorry I couldn't shout you out sooner, but I appreciate the bits, brother. Let's see. Tracker's really good if you're not using heartbeat, if you're not sniping. Yeah, it could be. Everyone I've never tried Tracker, but everyone I've talked to, because I've thought about running Tracker too, everyone says it's not really that useful. Call me Al. What's up, brother? Why tactical and not monolithic? What's up, Skateboard Q? Good question. Monolithic adds damage range, but it's only like 2 or 3 meters. So it adds very little damage range, and it also makes your ADS speed a little slower. So the difference between monolithic and tactical suppressor is very small. But with monolithic, you're gaining a tiny bit of damage range, and you're losing a tiny bit of ADS speed. And if that's the trade-off, I'd rather have a little faster ADS than a little more damage range. That's the reason we run tactical suppressor. Let's see. Jedi Knife, what's up, dude? 400 milligram gummy worm kicked in right after I put the kids to bed. I'm playing Spider-Man right now. Shit's crazy. Damn. That would be crazy, especially on 400 milligrams of THC. So we'll keep those things in mind. Sykin, what's up, dude? 500 biddies. Let's fucking go. Sykin. Welcome back, brother. I appreciate the 500 biddies. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and I'm privileged. An extended thank you again. I appreciate the support, boys. Let's move on here. To equipment. So, for lethal equipment, I use C4. I think it is the best lethal. It does an insane amount of damage. It does the most damage of all of the lethals, in fact. But the damage radius is the smallest. Besides the thermite. That's so not technically, but you get what I'm saying. But most importantly, it can be detonated instantly. So I don't have to cook it like a frag, and I don't have to wait for the Semtex delay that beeps and lets every enemy know to get the fuck out of there, by the way. So that's why I run C4. And it's also the best for killing vehicles because of how much damage it does. Like with a Semtex or a frag, you have to put it on the vehicle to blow it up. But with a C4, you can just throw it in the air. Vehicle drives by. You detonate it insta. Vehicle's dead. So C4 is really good for that reason. And again, even if you're just using it on someone behind a corner, you can detonate it instantly, and it does so much damage. So if you're able to put the C4 close to people, you can down them in like one C4. It's really fucking strong. So that is what I run as my my lethal. However, frag and Semtex have their advantages. Number one, you can throw them way fucking farther than you can throw a C4. That's probably really the only advantage of the other lethals. You can just lob them 3 times as far as you can lob a C4. But I'm also trying to not fucking Brett Favre my my lethals. I'm trying to secure kills. So yeah, that's the reason I run C4. Tanner, what do you run as a lethal?
C4, and I agree with you. Like, yeah, frag could be good, but if you're throwing it that far away, chances are, you know, you may get a tag, but you're not going to kill the guy usually. So then at that point, he's just going to armor up. It was a complete waste. Yep. And when we use C4, it's usually because we're rushing a team. Maybe we already downed one of them. We know they're on the other side of the wall. We run up, throw C4, detonate real quick, you know, get another down, get a tag, and then rush in. And it's just chaos. It's really loud. They don't know what's going on. It's the best lethal by far, and you should definitely run it.
Yeah. It's also
I don't even see anybody running frag, honestly. Do you? I can't think of any time I've ever been killed by a frag.
I see people running Semtex. I don't see frags almost ever.
Okay.
The cook time is just not worth it. That's why I don't run it in multiplayer either. I don't want to sit here and wait with literally with my dick in my hand and then my frag in the other for it to cook. It's dumb. So yeah, C4 is definitely, I agree, the best. And you raised a good point. If someone is downed and then they run behind a corner and you can't finish them, You can just mollywop a C4 in there real quick and kill them, like guaranteed, if they're downed. So that's another good use of it. The only lethal I would avoid is thermite. Thermite is really good for destroying vehicles, but it's not good for destroying vehicles in Warzone, and here's why. If I'm driving a truck and it gets stuck with thermite, we all have plenty of time to get out before the vehicles gets destroyed. Now, the vehicle's going to get destroyed, but I have time to get safe before the vehicle gets destroyed. So C4 is better in that case, because if the vehicle gets destroyed by a C4, it takes all the damage instantly. It's not like waiting for the thermite to finish burning. So C4 is better for that. And also, in every other situation, thermite has the smallest damage radius. It's very clearly obvious where the damage is coming from, and you can easily fucking avoid it. So thermite is the only lethal that I would just absolutely not fucking use at all. And I've never seen it used in Warzone. So every lethal I think is good except thermite, and I think C4 is the best. And Tanner agrees with me. Now we have a quick announcement here. The Vaping Viking has just cheered 10,500 fucking bits. Let's fucking go, dude. Holy shit. That is insane. Viking, thank you so goddamn much. That is...
Jeez.
That's going to be a damn that's crazy for me. Viking, welcome. It's an honor and a privilege to have you back once again. You haven't said a goddamn word in this stream. And then the first thing I get hit with is a fucking 10,000 bit cheer. So Viking, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that, man. That is a total of 75,759 bits that this man has cheered in this stream. Viking, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. The true fucking benefactor of the Dropshot LLC. Viking, thank you, dude. I appreciate it, and I hope you're doing well. I really appreciate that, man. And then Pritch with the sub. Let's fucking go. And the follow. Pritch, welcome. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here, sir. Welcome to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Jewel, thank you for the follow as well, sir. I appreciate that. Arkalek. Arkalek's the homie from Swotor. What's up, dude? Yeah, Viking, just tuned in. Hell yeah, dude. Well, that's one way to make an entrance. That's one cartel baller way to make an entrance. I appreciate the bits, man. Thank you so much. Are you traveling across state lines right now? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. We're just talking about Warzone, and our next topic of conversation on the issue of equipment is non-lethals. So currently, what everyone runs as their non-lethal is heartbeat sensor. The reason for this is that it never gets consumed. So every other non-lethal, stun, concussion, stim, once you use it, it's gone. Looting. I get the feeling you're not looting, Viking. I get the feeling you're in a compound defending from looters. But I'll keep that in mind. But the heartbeat sensor is the only non-lethal that does not get consumed. So you use it, and then when you're done using it, you put it away, and it's still there, ready to be used again. So if for those of you who have never used a heartbeat sensor, you pull out a little iPad, and then it shows this like cone in front of you, 40 to 45 meter cone in front of you, and it will detect anyone in that cone within 40 to 45 meters, and it will ping on the tablet their location and their distance. The only way they won't be detected by the heartbeat sensor is with Ghost. This is another reason Ghost is so insanely OP. is because even if there's no UAVs up, you can still be detected by enemy players if they have a heartbeat sensor. And everyone uses heartbeat sensor in Warzone. That's why Ghost is so good. You can't get fucking detected by a heartbeat sensor and have no idea the guy is there if you have Ghost. But if they don't have Ghost and you're using the heartbeat sensor and they're 40 to 45 meters in front of you, you will detect them. Tanner, is this what you've been using?
That is what I've been running so far. Yes, I've actually never tried anything else in Warzone, to be honest. Now, actually, I think we ran smoke for a little bit at the beginning. I think we did.
I think Ben
but
ran
then
smoke.
I ran smoke, but then everybody was running thermal, so it was completely worthless. Maybe smoke makes sense again, but I don't think it's worth running.
Yeah. So here's a question I've been having, and I've been debating this. I'm debating how many people, if you're playing 3s or 4s, need to run heartbeat sensor. Because certainly not everyone needs to run it. Because most of the time, most of you are going to be alive. So one, if not two of you, can afford to not run heartbeat sensor. Do you agree or disagree?
I feel like if we're playing 4s, I think only 2 people need to run it. So I like where you're about to go, and I'm going to agree with you, and I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
And I would like to try it tonight, both of us.
Okay, but you'd like to try what? If 2 people are the designated heartbeat sensor users, what are the other 2 people running?
Stun grenades.
Stun over smoke.
Yes.
Okay. And why is that?
To stun people? I don't know, dude. If we're rushing a building or something, I would much rather... Okay, well, here's the thing. Here's when smoke helps, is when you're running in the open. The thing is, if you're in the open running from 2 buildings or something, I'm going to get killed either way. It doesn't matter. The smoke's not going to save me. We need to run stuns. If we're pushing a building, throw one upstairs real quick, run in. The stuns in this game last a really long time, especially if you play on PC. You get shit on by... So, I'm not kidding. I got stunned the other day in multiplayer for the first time in a long time. I couldn't move for 8 seconds. So, that's... You have plenty of time to push in a building, get behind somebody, and fuck their ass.
True. Very true. Great points. So Lowcap says, I was thinking of running Snapshot for when we push buildings. Now, Tanner, why is that a terrible idea?
Do I have to answer what Lowcap says?
I don't think you
Ever?
know the answer, so I'll answer it.
Well, it's a snapshot grenade. It doesn't need an answer. It's a snapshot grenade.
That's kind of true, but also Snapshot doesn't work if you have Ghost. So Snapshot
It's
grenade
also-
is not going to be helpful against players who have Ghost, which is going to be most of them. And when you most want good non-lethal equipment, it is toward the end where only the good players left, or where only the good players are left. And all the good players are going to be running Ghost, making Snapshot grenades totally useless. So good try, retard. Here is why stun grenade is a great idea, is because guess what no one runs in Warzone? Battle hardened.
Nope.
So you're never going to get countered with a stun grenade. So once you stun someone, you're going to be pretty much guaranteed that you're going to fuck their ass. And you could say the same for heartbeat sensor low cap. That's why I've been thinking of not running it. That's exactly why I'm thinking of not running it. So I think stun or flash would probably be the best bet. There is an argument to be made for smoke to be able to res people. I think that is pretty good idea, especially because thermals aren't in the meta anymore. So I'm going to experiment with non-lethals, but at least some of you should have heartbeat sensor, because even if you're not going to get utility out of it in the end game, you're going to get a lot of utility out of it such that you can make it to the end game. But I don't think everyone needs to run it. So we're going to experiment with that. But definitely some of you should be running heartbeat sensor. And if you're playing like duos or solos, I think everyone on the squad should be running heartbeat sensor, whether that's just you or it's you and your duos teammate, because someone in duos can die and then one person's left. And then I think you'd rather have a heartbeat than any other Non-lethal. Viking says definitely not looting, and you're correct. Locked, loaded, and ready for some idiots to think they're about to improve their life. Amen, brother. Yeah. I bet you've got quite the fucking arsenal, by the way, Viking. Your garage probably looks like the create a loadout screen in Modern Warfare. It's got that table with fucking bandoliers on it and magazines and all these fucking guns. So don't try Viking. Let's just go with that.
Dude, he has like a live-in gunsmith even that's just standing there. It's like he tells him what he wants applied. It's like the Division. You go up, you tell them what you want, they set it up. Then he's ready to go.
He's got his own blackjack, like the Black Ops 4 cartel market.
Yeah.
You want it? I got it. So keep those things in mind. Stay the fuck away from that dude. And he shot officers of the law with blackjacks and M80s. So if you don't think he'll shoot you trying to rob him, you're dead fucking wrong. So keep those things in mind. Now the next point is an important point. This is on positioning in general. So in general, you want to be riding the gas. And I'm sure a lot of you who are not new to BRs already know this. This is not a Modern Warfare specific tip, but some of you might be new to BRs like I am. This might be your first BR, in which case we will go through this. You want to be riding the gas, be close to it, be as close to it as possible, and follow it in. So like, let's say the gas is closing this way. If you're on the edge of it, don't run straight toward the next circle. You want to run in like diagonally, like around the diameter of the around the diameter of the gas as you come in, so that you're always like right on the edge. And the reason for that is that if you're super close to the gas, you can be super confident that you're not going to get killed from behind. It's the same principle in multiplayer as playing on the edge of a multiplayer map. So if you're playing on like Nuketown and you're playing on the very right side of the map, why is that smart? Because you know you can't get killed from your right. So there are fewer areas you have to check for enemies. And that's going to increase your chances of survival. The same is the case in Warzone. If you're really close to the gas, so that the gas is directly on your right, then you know you're not going to get killed from your right. So you have to check fewer areas, and that drastically increases your chances of survival. Mm-hmm. So another quick announcement. The insane vaping Viking has cheered 12,500 bits. Let's fucking go! This man is absolutely insane. He's cleaning his Glock. He's talking to his gunsmith. And he's cheering unseemly amounts of bits to help support the Dropshot LLC. Viking, thank you so goddamned much, my friend. That is crazy. That is a total of 88,259 bits. What an absolute fucking demon. What a demon. Viking, thank you so much, dude. LFGGGGG indeed, dude. Jesus Christ. So many bits. I think I need to get another beer.
You think?
For that. I think I do. I might have to get Viking, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to make a fucking whiskey? Or do you want me to get a beer? What do you want, dude? I'm going to drink whatever the fuck you want. Do you want me to butt chug water? Whatever you want, dude, is what I'll do. I'll take your lead. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it. Call me Al with the 4 gifted subs. Let's fucking go. You love to see it. Arkalek, Swotor buddy. Fake Oscar, Quality, another Swotor buddy. And Hippo Stealth. Welcome to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. Call me Al. Thank you so much for the 4 gifted subs, dude. I appreciate you. Very kind of you to support. And Gift Curse with the 500 biddies. Let's fucking go. Jesus, dude. Crazy support tonight. Crazy support. I appreciate it, brothers and sisters. Gift Curse, thank you so much for the 500 bits. Call me Al for the gifted subs. And of course, Vaping Viking for the tens of thousands of bits. I appreciate all of you. Very kind of you. So Viking wants me to drink a White Claw. Now, I don't have White Claw in this house. We don't carry White Claws. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the closest thing I can to that, which I think is a lager. So I'm going to go fetch this lager. And Tanner, maybe you can go ahead and take this this second point while I go fetch my White Claw. The closest thing I can find to a White Claw.
Okay. I don't know why this guy talks shit on loggers so much. Okay. So the next tip we have here in regards to positioning is you always want to be close to a piece of cover, as we were kind of saying earlier regarding the smokes. You'll get surprised all over the place from different angles and enemies. And you always want to have the ability to hide behind something, whether it's a rock, a building, a wall. Hide behind Razanon if you're playing with him. Just enough time to armor up, figure out where they are. So you never want to just run out in the open. You have to kind of plan your routes. If you see a good spot where you can run to, take that direction. Keep that in the back of your mind if you start getting shot at. Hey, I'm going to run here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to armor up. I'm going to figure out where they're at, and I'm going to fuck their ass. Otherwise, you run in the open in this game, especially if we're playing quads or something, your whole team is going to get fucking decimated easily. And you just don't have time to armor up or anything.
Agreed. Well said, Tanner. Yeah, you just
I'll be
always...
right back.
Okay. You always want to be close to cover. For all the reasons Tanner just said. And you never really know where people are. So even if you feel like you're safe to run across this prairie, this isn't Gone with the Wind. Don't do it. Stay close to the buildings, the rocks, the cliff. You always want some kind of cover. On that point, also, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ben Kenobi, for you boomers watching or listening, the high ground is king. And this is even more true if you are on top of a roof of a building, or even if you're in a building looking out like a second, third, fourth, 14th story window. So being in these buildings or even on top of a cliff, having high ground of any kind is a massive advantage. It allows you to LOS something really quickly. And it also allows you to have line of sight on enemies beneath you at your, within your control and at your will. You can be in someone's line of sight or exit their line of sight exclusively on your command by your volition. They have no choice if they're below you. And this is especially true if someone's on a roof or if someone is like in the second story of a building. So what that means is you want to be in these high ground positions. But I think more importantly, if someone's in a building, especially if they're up high in a building, don't push them because you're going to die 9 times out of 10. The only exception to this is if you're positive that they don't know that you're coming. But if they do know you're coming and they're in the second story of a building, they're going to camp the stairs. They're going to have claymores. They're going to be prone to ADS exactly on the staircase. And every single time I've tried to do this, I've died. Almost every single time. The only time it works is if you surprise them. But the advantage of being in the second story or 14th story of a building and knowing people are coming below you is so big that it's virtually insurmountable. So if you pick up a bounty contract, for example, and you're on the ground floor and your bounty contract is on top of the helipad at the hospital, give up, go somewhere else. Avoid that at all costs because you're not going to kill those people. The only exception to this is, once again, if you surprise them or if you can snipe them. But if you're beneath them, it's going to be very difficult to snipe them. Because even if you shoot them in the head, they'll immediately get downed, but then they're just going to crawl backward, get rezzed by a teammate, armor back up, and then everyone's wasting time. So you want to avoid rushing people who are really fortified in buildings. Just go somewhere else. The gas is going to push them in eventually, and then you won't have to worry about dealing with that task. So respect the high ground and respect people camping in buildings, especially if they know you're coming.
They don't deserve respect.
I'll keep that in mind. Also, always be buying. So there are buy stations pretty plentifully spread around the map. And if you have money, look, this isn't a fucking mutual fund. The only thing your money is doing is sitting there. Spend it. Spend it. Pretend it is your stimulus check from Donald J. Trump and that you live at home and have no bills and no responsibilities. And I know that's a lot of you because you're 15 years old. I've seen the analytics.
It's you too.
Okay.
I thought you were referring to yourself.
No,
actually.
that's not. I'm not. But so just, do what you're used to doing. And as soon as you get money, spend it immediately, frivolously. Now, the first thing you should be doing, of course, is spending that on the loadout. But once you have the loadout drop, your priorities for what you should be buying is going to shift. Number one, this is a new addition, the armor box. The armor box is like a munitions box, except when your teammate uses it, it completely fills up their armor reserves. So if you have 0 armor reserves and you use the armor box, you have 5. If you have a satchel and you have 0, you have 8. And this works for every one of your teammates, and you can use it once. So make sure you use all the armor in your inventory, and then once that's done, use the armor box. It'll refill it. That is a very good buy, especially if it's getting toward the end and you're in the second story of a building that's going to be within the last circle. That's a great time to have an armor box because you're not going to be able to go buy more armor. So if you guys are getting peppered from 3 angles, it's really nice to have an armor box so that once they've chewed through all the armor you have, you can just resupply and you're back to 8. And then you guys are chilling for when that final circle continues to close. UAV is also very good, but because so many people run Ghost, as they should, the longer the game goes on, the less and less useful UAV is, because the more and more people who are on the map, the greater proportion of them are going to have Ghost. And if they have Ghost, UAV isn't going to do anything for you, obviously. I've played many games where I've saved UAV for like a time where we need it, and it's like the second to last circle, and then I pop UAV, there's 4 teams left, and there's 0 red dots. That happens. So UAV is more useful toward the beginning of the game and a lot less useful toward the end because everyone's going to be getting Ghost.
Yeah, I think it's good early game and then up until the middle. Once it gets down to maybe, 40 players left and below, then it gets kind of less useful. Then when you're like 20 and below, it's almost useless. But the thing is, dude, a lot of these teams aren't coordinated, and they'll have like 3 guys running Ghost, and then one of them won't be. So even if that one guy is popping up on the radar, we're going to go that direction, and when we're outside their building or wherever they're hiding, we can hear them, and we can figure out there's a whole squad of them there. So that's another thing. If you guys are going to run Ghost, make sure your whole team is doing it. Otherwise, it's kind of worthless. So if you're playing with randoms, that's not going to work that well. If you have a squad, though, you guys need to talk about that shit and figure that out.
Agreed. Good points. Good points from Tanner for sure. Also, self-res is insanely useful to have. Self-res is one of those buys that's always good no matter what stage of the game it is. And here's a pro tip for the self-res. Let's say you get downed and then you get behind cover. You can start self-resing yourself up to like 99% done. And then you can stop and your teammate can finish you off. and he's going to pick up where you left off. And then once you get rezzed by your teammate, as long as he's the one to finish the res, you still have your self-res. It doesn't get consumed. The only time your self-res is consumed is if your self-res is the one finishing the res, the one that actually gets you up. But you can like press it and unpress it as many times as you want, and the progress meter toward the res is still going to continue to fill. So what you want to do is you get down, you get behind a piece of cover, and your teammate's running to res you, start self-resing, and then once he's there, stop, let him finish it, and then you're still going to have your self-res once you're up. So there's another little pro tip. That's another reason self-res is good, not only for getting yourself up if you have to, but also it makes your teammates being able to res you a fuck of a lot easier, because they can do it virtually instantly using that little dumb trick that shouldn't exist. Gas masks are also excellent to have, but they drop pretty often. And if you're doing bounties and stuff, because they drop pretty often, and if you're getting kills, they drop even more often for you, because they were in 3 supply boxes and then enemies picked them up and then you killed the enemies and now you picked up their gas masks. So they're pretty readily available. So they're very good to have, and they're very important in that late game where you might need to play gas. But I'm not going to buy a gas mask unless it's like the final 3 circles and I still don't have one. Then I'll buy a gas mask. But before then, I usually don't waste my money on it, because 9 times out of 10, by the time I need a gas mask, I will have picked one up. Whether it's through a supply box or looting some shit kid that had one himself. And yes, it does real. It also stops the bleed out. So self-res is very good to have. Not only for the obvious reason, but also for those auxiliary benefits. Tanner, I'm curious on your opinion on this, but for me, the precision airstrike, in my opinion, seems like fucking trash. It can kill people, but it is so inconsistent for me that it is not really ever worth spending money on. I have gotten downs and kills with the precision airstrike, but based on how many times I've used the precision airstrike, my hit rate is like literally like 5%. Like, it very rarely actually gets me tags or downs or kills. It just seems inconsistent to me. Tanner, what is your opinion on the precision in Warzone?
I would agree with that. It's funny too, because I always see these clips online of somebody calling it precision and wiping out their whole squad. But the only times I've ever used it, kind of like you're saying, I've maybe got a couple downs. I don't think I've ever even got a full kill with it. I know one time it came in handy when it was like me, you, and Ben playing trios, or maybe we were in a quads game. And I think it was Ben called one in near end game and he downed like an entire team or like 3 guys or something. But usually it doesn't help. I think if anything, what it does is you can use it if you're moving out in the open or something and you know there's guys there, you can call it in. They get the notification that there's a precision airstrike incoming, and it may just get them to, you know, they kind of have to hide into cover, figure out where it's coming from, and then you can move somewhere or get a flank on them. But in terms of just getting kills with it, I don't think it's good or worth it to run, really. There's plenty of other things I could spend my money on. Like armor plates you almost always need, or somebody on your squad needs. There's always something else I would rather buy, pretty much.
Agreed. Now that brings me to the next point. Cluster strikes, in my opinion, are much more reliable and are more precise, so I can put it exactly where I fucking want it and I know where it's going to go. And it is more effective to me, the cluster strike, at driving people out of cover. So for example, I used this last night. In fact, I had a cluster strike. I was on a roof and there was an enemy squad that was probably 80 yards from me, and they were behind a big rock. So I didn't have an angle on them. And everyone knew where everyone was. What I did, I had my cluster. I put the fucking laser pointer right behind the rock, and I called in the cluster. And now, so if that was a precision airstrike, I don't know what would have happened, but they might not have even gotten tagged. They might not have moved. But the cluster strike shows on everyone's minimap exactly where it's hitting. So it forces people out of cover. So those people had two options. Option one, stay behind the rock, get shit on, and they all die. Option two, which is the option this team opted for, is to get the fuck out of behind that rock, because if they stay there, they're going to die. So what did they do? They ran out behind the rock. Guess what happened to them? Our squad fucking mowed them down. Easily, readily. So the cluster strike in that situation was way better than the precision airstrike. It didn't get me a kill, but it forced them out of cover, which did get me a kill. Now, a precision airstrike might have also been able to do that, but the cluster, like, clearly paints a picture for everyone involved. Hey, bitch, missiles are going to land here. So you can move or you can just die. And then it forced them out of their hole, and then we killed them all. How do you like clusters, Tanner?
I don't think I've ever used one, to be honest, but everything you've said about them is making sense. Well, I've used them, but not in Warzone. Everything you're saying is making sense. It's just, they come in so much slower. I wouldn't expect to get kills with it, but it would be fantastic for getting people to move again.
Yeah.
You know, precision, you're actually probably more likely to get kills just because it comes in quicker and they don't know exactly where it's landing, unlike cluster strike. So
true.
It's great for making people move. Don't expect to get a squad wipe with it though every time. Just use it more as a tactical advantage to, you know, get the high ground.
I agree with that.
You have to play that situation.
I think the only case where you would actually get kills with it is if you like down someone or down two people and it's like the last circle and he runs behind the rock to like self-res and then you just dump a cluster there. By the time he finishes the self-res and he starts armoring, the first cluster lands and he's dead, and then you won the game. But yeah, it's mainly good, like you said, for people with brains, for driving them out of cover. And it's very good at doing that. So
yeah.
Regardless, cluster is also something I'm not really ever going to buy unless I already have everything else I need. So if I'm full armor, full ammo, gas mask, self-res, armor box, I have all that shit, and then I also have a bunch of money, I'll buy a cluster for sure. Especially if it's toward the end game, because I'm not going to buy a UAV in that situation because everyone else I suspect is going to have ghost. So in that case, I'll just buy a cluster instead so that I can drive people out of cover and then mow them down when they move or finish someone who's downed. But the last point on kill streaks in Warzone is the closer to the end game it is, the better. Because when the circle is smaller, they have less places to run to. So like the final circle, you might be able to put down a cluster where they can't escape it. Like they're going to have to go in the gas to get out of its blast radius. And that's really good because you're going to destroy their gas mask, or if they don't have one, or if their gas mask's been destroyed, you'll gas them and kill them, or at least weaken them, and then you can finish fucking them up. So the longer you can hold on to a kill streak, the better, because it gets better and better as the circles get later, which is an inverse relationship of the UAV, which gets worse and worse as the game goes on. The cluster and the precision get better and better as the game goes on. So that's how you would kind of chart the streaks for Warzone. So next little tip. This one's kind of cheeky, but you might as well know it. You know how you can use like the spray paint in game to spray dumb little things on walls and shit? You can also spray other people while you're waiting for your gulag match. And that spray, whatever you spray them with, will stay on their character until the game's over. So not only in the gulag, but also if they escape the gulag. So what you should do while you're waiting for your gulag, instead of punching people or throwing rocks like an idiot, you should be spraying everyone else who's waiting, because one of them might be your opponent. One of them is going to be your opponent. And that makes it a lot easier to see them because we all know how shit the visibility is in this game. And so even if that's not your opponent in the gulag, it might be your opponent later down the road in the final circle. And then if they have a big fucking red heart on their face, it makes it a lot easier to spot them right away. So it's not game breaking, you know, but it's a nice little advantage. It's something to do while you're in the gulag waiting for your match to eke out every advantage you possibly can. And also red and yellow are the two colors sprays that work best in my opinion. So if you have a red spray or a yellow spray, I suggest you use those. So keep that in mind. And then conversely, you want to avoid being sprayed. So if someone's running around doing this trick, sprint away from them for the whole match.
Just keep running around in circles.
Just fucking yeet. Yeah. Just spray someone and then keep running. So, this next point is an important point, and this one's hard for me to internalize, but I've been trying very hard. If you down someone and you see other enemies around who are not downed, ignore the downed opponent until no one else is up. Now, real quick, hold on. I have to go to chat because I've been waiting to hear from this young man. This is, I think John is your name, sir. J. Pharmacus. On his way to partner, by the way. So everyone cross your fingers for our boy John, which I think is what I heard your name being referred to as. Go give him a follow, and the next time he's live, make sure you're fucking watching, because he's applying for partner very soon, and he wants all the concurrent viewers he can possibly have. So while you're beating off on redtube.com and John is live, have him open on your second monitor so that you're giving him that concurrent viewer, because we want to make sure this man has partner. And he says, appreciate all the help. CPU's not going 100% anymore. Awesome. Staying around the 70-ish mark. Still going i9 and better cooler, but it's perfect while I wait for it to come in. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, the i9 in that case is 100% going to be sufficient for what you're using it for, and it will never stutter. And also, even, I want to be clear, even when you get your new processor, continue to use NVENC new as your encoder. Because even if you have an i9 9900K, or even the new i10 900K, or whatever the fuck it's called, none of those processors are going to do encoding better than your GPU is. So continue using NVENC new. But the i9 is going to make everything else you're doing much better. So keep using NVENC new even when you get that new processor. But I'm glad it's been working for you so far.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm sure you've noticed, by the way, if you watch your past broadcast, your stream quality is just as good as it used to be. So keep those things in mind. And thank you for the host, brother. Thank you for the host, sir. So we've all got our fingers crossed for you, brother. Like I said, I linked his Twitch. Make sure you fucking follow him. He's a handsome kid, by the way, too. Have you seen him, Tanner?
I have absolutely seen him. Yes, very handsome.
We've got some handsome kids.
We love to shout. Yeah.
It's a little Razino sus, but we've got some handsome kids that are a part of this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. And John is one of them, certainly. So, yeah, of course, dude. Of course. So, anyways, like I was saying, if you do down someone and you see other enemies around who are not downed, ignore the downed opponent until no one else is up. I know you're going to be tempted once you down someone to just dump your fucking clip and make sure they're dead. If you're getting shot by other people, or even if you know other people are alive who could potentially shoot you, resist the temptation, immediately stop shooting the downed person, and focus all of your attention on the next enemy who is not downed. It is not worth the extra time it takes to finish someone if you're still in danger. And The worst case scenario here, if you ignore someone who is downed, is that they self-res or they get resed by their teammate. But in either of those scenarios, you are safe while that is happening, while they're getting resed by the teammate or while they're self-resing. That is also taking time away from you being shot by their teammate, because if their teammate is resing that downed opponent that you have, then guess what? They're not shooting you because they can't shoot you and res their teammate at the same time. So no matter what the scenario is, you should not be killing downed opponents unless there is no other enemy within your field of vision that can be shooting you. And it is hard to do, and I fuck this up all the time. And when I down someone, my dick just gets super hard, and I just want to keep dumping that clip into them.
Does it get bigger than it already is?
Or magazine. It's possible, and I've fainted a couple times because it's so massive that when it gets that erect, it is a health risk.
Does it lift up your desk?
It is a code red. I've actually got a life alert on the way from Amazon.com in the event that I down someone in Warzone, because it is a serious critical DEFCON 1, 5. I don't know what the high one is. Doesn't matter. But yeah, you need to be careful to ignore the downed opponent if there are other enemies by you. Resist the temptation. You find this difficult as well, Tanner?
Dude, I die so often because I'm shooting bodies. Just because, like you, I down him and I see him on the ground. I'm like, I want to kill this guy. I want to finish him off. And I keep shooting him, and then his teammates continue to shoot at me, and then I die or get down because of it. Yep. It's very hard to do. So that's something I know I need to work on. And I know we're telling you that this is the way you need to do it, but it's hard to do. So it'll take some practice. You just really have to try to, just shoot the people that are shooting back at you. Don't shoot the people on the ground.
For sure. It takes discipline. It genuinely takes discipline. But I mean, you have to think of it this way. The downed person is no longer a threat to you. You want to eliminate threats. So if you down someone and they do get rezzed, by the time they're rezzed, heal up, armor up, and reload, I mean, you can count that dude out for at least a minute, because it's going to take them at least a minute to res, armor back up, and reload and start shooting you again. And a minute is a very long time in a gunfight. So that's plenty of time for you to reposition, continue shooting at his teammates, maybe down his teammate or two. And also, if that downed guy does get rezzed, you will hear it. You will hear it, because there is a sound that gets made when someone gets rezzed, and it's quite loud.
It is. It's very audible.
So
you can hear it from far away.
Exactly. So you'll know, unless they're super far away from you, you will know if that person ended up being rezzed or not. But even if they do get rezzed, that's not a loss, dude. That's not a loss. Because if you didn't finish the downed person, that means you were shooting at someone who was shooting at you. And that is always the better use of your time. There's no reason that you should finish someone that's downed when there's someone else shooting at you. But we're not saying don't finish downed people ever. Sometimes you'll down someone and he's the only fucking enemy around you. Yeah, immediately dump your clip into him. But I'm saying when that's not the case, when there's danger afoot, then you should immediately direct your attention elsewhere. So another tip, you should always be fighting or doing contracts, because there's pretty much always something you can buy, and you want to be using your time effectively. And really the only two ways to use your time effectively are fighting or doing contracts. You can pick up a bounty contract if you're trying to bang it out. That's what we do, because it's the most fun way to play the game. And bounties are also a very good way to get money for two reasons. Number one, you get money for completing the bounty contract. But number two, if you're killing enemy players, they've done a lot of looting for you. And then you loot their dumb idiot bodies. and they have a ton of cash on them. They have UAVs. They have gas masks. They have armor satchels. So bounties are a very good way to earn yourself more equipment and more money, which is going to increase your likelihood of winning the Warzone match. And bounties are also good to get even if you have no intention of completing them, because at the very least, it will give you an indication of where an enemy squad is in the game. So if you pick up a bounty and then it's around hospital, you can say, okay, well, I'm not going hospital because if they're on top of the roof, I have no chance of killing them. But now at least I know that there's a squad on top of hospital. So even if you don't actually do the bounty contract, it's always going to give you good intel on where some enemy squad is. So bounties are always a good choice, but they're definitely for the aggressive, obviously. Scavenger contracts, which are the magnifying glass icon. So by the way, bounty contracts, the icon for them, it's yellow with a reticle. They're all yellow. All the contracts are yellow. Bounty contract is the reticle. Scavenger contracts are the magnifying glass. These award quite a bit of loot. And we went over this at the beginning of the pod. And at the end, they give you an armor satchel, which increases the maximum number of plates you can carry from 5 to 8. If you got squad wiped and you're the only person who survives your gulag, this is the contract you want to look for, because this is just going to give you the most loot and the most cash so that you can buy back a teammate right away or as quickly as possible and then get back to fragging. And this one's also not going to put you in danger. Obviously, if you just spawn in with only a pistol and you're playing 4s, you don't want to pick up a bounty contract because you're probably not going to be able to complete it. Scavenger contract, pretty much dangerless contract to complete. And then the last contract type is the flag. This is the Recon Contract. And the reward for this one is a circle peak. So once you complete the contract, when you open your map, you have the white circle, which is the current circle. But then you'll also get a yellow circle that is within that one that gives you information ahead of time of where the next circle is going to be. So this one's really good if you wanted to position yourself in such a way that you are inside the next circle before everyone else is. It's super valuable, obviously, but while you're completing the contract, there's a big fucking yellow light beam that shoots up into the sky. So while you're completing it, everyone else on the map is going to know where you are. So just be careful while you're completing it, because people could come and try and fuck your ass. So, and then our last tip, or my last tip for now, is if you're driving a vehicle, it is very easy to get your entire team killed because an RPG or a Pila got shot at your car, and then or a C4, and then you're all dead and the game's over. However, what you can do is you can throw a trophy system on top of your car or your helicopter, and the trophy system will stay attached to that like a magnet and will deflect all incoming projectiles. So you won't have to worry about RPGs or C4s or grenades, etc. So I always pick up trophy systems when I see them so that the next time I want to drive around, I know that I can do it safely because I can throw a trophy on top of the vehicle. The trophy system lasts for 10 minutes in Warzone, which is a very long time. And then you can drive around pretty much without a fear of getting shot, which is great. So yeah. Anything else to add on this topic in general, Tanner?
The only thing I wanted to add was about the contracts. Bounty is the best contract to do by far. You can get a lot of money because also you don't even have to finish it. You know, if another team gets the kill, you still get some money from it. And when you're playing quads, that ends up being a lot of money.
That's a great point.
And recon are probably the most dangerous to do, only because, yeah, something gets shot up in the sky and everybody knows you're there. I know when we hear that sound, and see it happening, we immediately run that direction. So keep that in mind when you're doing recon contracts. It's probably the contract you shouldn't be doing unless you're in the corner of the map and you don't think anybody's around you and you're not ready for, or if you are ready for a gunfight, I should say.
Yes.
So
agreed. What's up, Hacks? Honor and a privilege to have you here, sir. Thank you. The sleeve looks good in this light. My webcam, one of my filters is increased saturation, so all the colors pop more. So I look less white and disgusting, and also my sleeve looks much more vibrant on camera than it does in real life. But I'm also super white, so color still looks pretty good in real life. But thank you, dude. I appreciate it. I also did not cry getting it. Tattoos don't hurt. They're not hard. It's pretty simple. And if you were like, oh my God, this tattoo hurts so bad, I have to get drunk, you're Razano sus. So keep that in mind. Although I will say the inside of my arm hurt a lot more than the outside. But it's not bad.
he says all that and then he says how the inside hurt.
It's fine. It's fine, but it's not, you know.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I've thought about getting
great.
tattoos, but I am kind of scared of how it feels. Because listen, you talk to one person, they're like, dude, it just feels like somebody's like poking your arm like slightly. And then other people are like, dude, it hurts so bad. It's like, who do I believe? Like, I'm okay with shots. I don't give a fuck if somebody sticks a needle in my arm and draws blood, you know? So would I be okay with that? You think I should get inked the fuck up?
Dude, is that really the only reason you haven't gotten a tattoo?
Well, also, I've never had any good idea of what I've actually wanted to have.
Dude, it is not that big of a deal. It's uncomfortable, kind of. It's fine. It is not that big of a deal.
I've just never
all.
thought of anything that I would want for my entire life on there.
That's a good reason to not have a tattoo. Being afraid of what it feels like is a terrible reason.
Yeah.
How many 19-year-old 80-pound girls have you seen with full sleeves, Tanner? Because I've seen quite a few.
There's one in the chat, Bloodless TV. Just kidding.
Absolutely shit on. Absolutely shit on. So if they can do it, you can fucking do it, pussy idiot. Jesus Christ, that made me furious. So
tell me what to get then. I don't know what to get.
We'll brainstorm after. We'll brainstorm while we're playing Warzone. But any other?
If I hit 1,000 subs tonight, I'll get a Dropshot tattoo on my back.
Well, you better hope Vikings not here.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Any other Warzone tips you have for us, Tanner?
I don't think I have any more Warzone tips. Let's show them a tip by showing them how to fucking win as quad. Yeah.
Oh,
our boys are ready.
Oh, the boys are ready. Okay, cool. Okay. Do you want to hit this or no?
You can go into whatever you want. I'm gonna do my restart shit, and then get my stream started.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
So we're gonna be finishing up here. We're going to be playing some Warzone over at twitch.tv/Tanner Dropshot, but don't go anywhere because I'm gonna host him, and then we're gonna do dual cam over there, so you guys can stick around. Have no fear. We're gonna be getting over there just fine on our own. So, ribs suck hard. Back was nothing. The back seems like it would be super easy. The ribs do sound like death. I will say that tattoos, it definitely depends on where on your body you get it. Because, yeah, like the outside of my arm right here, nothing. It was totally fine. But the inside, it was not hard, but it wasn't great. You know, it definitely hurt more on the inside of your arm, but it's not, I wouldn't ever use the word painful. I wouldn't use the word painful. It was just more uncomfortable. But it's not prohibitively uncomfortable. Although I will say ribs would be... Listen, if I wanted a rib tattoo, Razano sus, but also, the pain wouldn't keep me away. The pain, I would just go into it and accept that this is not going to feel great, and then I would fucking figure it out. Because it's not that bad, no matter where you're getting tattooed. It's fine. Crichton, rip, dude. Stream
on,
snipe and shit on you cunts. What's up, dude? Go ahead and go live.
Okay.
These riots are kind of crazy, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah, dude.
I haven't been paying attention. I don't know.
I mean, we were kind of going to talk about the riots, but there's just so much going on. It's like, that's a whole other 2-hour fucking podcast. But
We can have an entire episode on just that if
Yeah.
we wanted to.
we really could. We really could. But the only good thing to come out of the riots is that the CNN headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia was defaced. And fuck CNN and fuck their headquarters. And I wish it would have been burned to the ground. I hope all of the
Yeah.
employees would have been safe, because if you're some desk jockey at CNN headquarters, it's not your fault for the decisions being made at CNN. So ideally what would have happened is every single employee of CNN headquarters safely evacuated the building. And then after that point, the building was firebombed like Dresden by F-35s or F-32s. I don't know what the jet is. I'm not fucking General MacArthur. Sorry. But fuck CNN. Fuck mainstream media in general, really. Not singling out CNN. And fuck their headquarters. How about that? So the fact that their property was tampered with is fantastic. I don't think anyone was hurt in the process either. And that's the important point. It wouldn't have been worth killing some secretary to deface the property, obviously. But assuming no one was hurt, then I think I am pleased with it. Because the mainstream media has contributed far more damage to our society, our culture, our thoughts, and as a result, because thoughts inform actions, the actions being taken all over the world, or all over the country, rather, maybe the world. And I'm glad that their property got fucking destroyed. Fuck you, CNN. How about that? How about the playmakers at CNN suck my giant white cock? Anyways. And then SpaceX launched. That's pretty cool. Here's my point on SpaceX. Here's my note. Let me read it for you guys. Let me show you guys. This is what we refer to in the United Goddamned States of America as capitalism, bitch. Hey, United Kingdom, where's your private corporations' spaceflight? Australia? New Zealand? Ireland? Chinese Communist Party? That's what I fucking thought. Stupid, dumb, communist idiots.
Jeez.
Yeah, that is what I thought. How many private corporations have sent a fucking spacecraft out of our atmosphere? One. Guess where it happened? The United Goddamn States of America. Yeah. And why is that the case? Capitalism, bitch. Capitalism. Welcome to the United States. Fuck communists. Thank you all for watching. Have an excellent evening. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stay humble.